The girl didn't even flinch when the bikers surrounded her. Engines growling, chrome glinting like sharpened steel, boots scraping against the pavement. Everyone in the small roadside diner froze, waiting for the chaos to erupt. But the teenage girl just stood there, hugging her worn-out leather jacket. The same jacket the bikers had mocked the moment she walked in. They hadn't yet seen the patch on the back. The one that would silence every laugh in the room. Before we dive into this unbelievable moment that left even the toughest riders speechless, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Slow and Steady Wins the Race, so you never miss incredible stories like this. The day had started like any other for 16-year-old Mara, though the quiet heaviness in her chest suggested otherwise. She was on her way home from her part-time shift at the feed store, her old black jacket zipped up tight against the wind. The jacket was far too big for her small frame, the sleeves worn at the cuffs, the leather cracked with time and history. She knew kids at school whispered about it behind her back, calling it Grandpa's reject jacket or junkyard leather, but she didn't care. That jacket was the only thing she had left that still smelled faintly of the man who used to wear it every day, her older brother, Lucas. He had been her hero, her guardian, and the only person who truly understood her. Now, he was gone, taken by a tragedy that still wrapped itself around her memories like cold fog. On this particular evening, she stopped at her favorite roadside diner for a hot chocolate. Needing a moment of warmth before the long walk home, the diner was usually quiet. But today, a cluster of massive motorcycles filled the parking lot, their intimidating presence impossible to ignore. Mara hesitated, but eventually pushed open the door. Immediately, every head inside turned toward her. The men seated near the counter wore faded leather vests, decorated with bold patches, wolves, skulls, lightning bolts. Their laughter echoed against the walls like rough gravel being shaken in a metal bucket. Mara kept her head down, clutching her drink as she found a seat in the corner, hoping she wouldn't draw attention. But she wasn't so lucky. One of the bikers, tall with a braided beard and tattoos that climbed his arms like tangled vines, nudged his friend and snickered loudly. "Hey boys, check this out," he said, pointing at Mara's jacket. "Looks like the kids stole that off a scarecrow." The rest burst into roaring laughter. Mara stiffened, but she didn't look up. She had learned to keep her expression still, like a pond refusing to ripple. She ran her fingers across the inside lining of the jacket, feeling the small embroidered initials, LJR Lucas James Raleigh. The bikers continued their comments, but Mara's mind drifted back to her brother. She remembered the way he used to lean against his bike in the driveway, the sunlight catching his smile as he ruffled her hair. Lucas was everything she wanted to be: fearless, kind-hearted, and full of life. Before the accident, he had promised to take her on a cross-state ride. "Just the two of us," he'd said. That dream disappeared the night he didn't make it home. Mara blinked away the sting of memory, raising her hot chocolate to her lips. But as she did, another biker spoke up, his voice cutting through the laughter. "Hold on," he said, leaning forward. "Turn around, kid." Mara froze. She felt the weight of a dozen eyes on her back. "I said turn around," the man repeated, his tone sharper now. Mara's pulse quickened. She clutched the edge of her jacket, unsure whether to ignore him or stand. The diner had gone eerily silent. Even the sizzling grill behind the counter seemed to quiet itself. Finally, she rose from her chair. "What's the matter?" The longest bearded man chuckled. "Jacket too precious to show?" With a small breath, Mara turned. Slowly, the leather creaked as she shifted out, revealing the back of the jacket, the massive embroidered patch she rarely showed anyone. For a full 2 seconds, no one spoke. The laughter evaporated. A ripple of shock moved through the group like lightning jumping between metal rods. The biggest biker, a man, with scars across his jaw, stood up so fast his chair screeched against the floor. His eyes widened as he stared at the patch. Mara swallowed hard, unsure what was coming next. The patch showed a pair of silver wings wrapped around a motorcycle engine with bold letters beneath it. Raleigh Riders founder, Lucas J. Raleigh. Its brother's patch. The original. The only one ever hand-stitched by the founding chapter. The room hung suspended in stunned silence. Mara had no idea her brother's legacy was about to speak louder than anything she could ever say. For a long moment, the air inside the diner was thick with something far heavier than surprise respect. Disbelief and a dawning recognition that transformed the biker's expressions from smug amusement to humbled awe. The man with the scarred jaw stepped forward first, each footstep sounding heavier than the last. "Kid," he breathed, his voice strangely soft for someone built like a living mountain. "Where did you get that jacket?" Mara's fingers unconsciously tightened around the hem. She lifted her chin slightly, a gesture Lucas had taught her whenever she felt scared. "It was my brother's," she said. "Lucas Raleigh." A collective murmur rippled through the group. The scarred man's eyes softened, as though he were looking at a ghost. "Lucas Raleigh," he echoed. "I'll be damned." Another biker, one with sun-faded goggles perched on his head, leaned forward, squinting at the patch. "Not just any Lucas," he muttered. "This is the Lucas Raleigh, founder of the original Raleigh Riders." Mara nodded. The room fell silent again. The scarred man exhaled slowly. "Kid, your brother saved my life." Mara blinked, her breath hitching as the man continued, his voice thick with memory. "We were on a night ride 5 years back. My bike blew a tire, and I went skidding across the road. Could have been crushed if a truck hadn't seen me. Lucas stayed with me the whole time, kept me awake, kept me talking. The paramedics said if he hadn't been there," his voice broke, just for a moment, "I wouldn't be here." Mara swallowed hard, overwhelmed. Lucas had never told her that story. Another biker stepped forward. "He helped me quit drinking," the man said quietly. "Told me real strength wasn't in a bottle," third added. "He taught my son how to ride." Story after story poured out, each one revealing pieces of Lucas she never knew, acts of kindness he had tucked into the world like folded love notes. Mara listened, tears threatening, but not yet falling. She had always known Lucas was good, but she hadn't known he was someone legends grew from. The diner's waitress stood behind the counter, wiping her eyes with her apron. The bikers, who only minutes earlier had been mocking her jacket, now looked at her with deep respect. The scarred man finally spoke again. "We didn't know," he said. "We shouldn't have laughed. That jacket, that patch, it means something. You wear it with pride." Or bowed her head slightly. "I do," she whispered. "I wear it because I miss him." The man's jaw tightened. "We all do," he said. Then in a voice that carried the weight of unspoken vows, he added, "If you ever need anything at all, you find us. Your family." Mara wasn't prepared for the wave of emotion that crashed through her. For so long, she had felt alone. But now, the echoes of her brother's life stood all around her, strong, loud, and full of heart. The scarred man cleared his throat. "You walking home?" Mara nodded. "Not anymore," he said firmly. "Let's go." Before she could protest, the bikers guided her outside. The sun was setting, painting the sky with soft amber streaks. One of them handed her a helmet small, fitted with silver wings painted on the sides. "Custom," he said. "Made it for Lucas years ago. He'd want you to have it." Mara held it gently, her heart swelling. She climbed onto the back of the scarred man's motorcycle. The engine roared to life beneath her. As they pulled out of the parking lot, the other riders fell into formation around them, a protective circle, honoring the girl who wore their founder's memory on her shoulders. For the first time in a long time, Mara felt something warm replacing the ache in her chest. Belonging, legacy, hope, as the wind rushed past her. She imagined Lucas looking down, smiling that familiar, mischievous smile. She whispered into the wind, "I'm still riding with you." And in the roar of the engines around her, she swore she heard an answer. A promise. A presence. Something steady, guiding, and proud. Mara closed her eyes, letting the road carry her forward, not alone anymore, but with a family she never expected, a brother she would always love, and a story that would ride with her for the rest of her life. If this emotional story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Slow and Steady Wins the Race. For more powerful tales that stay with you long after they're told,